Donald Trump is becoming increasingly agitated. Listen, I've been down this road too many times to get too, out in front of my skis, with this stuff. Trump apparently is going to sign the law that will supposedly force the administration to release the Epstein files. I am sure we're going to get a version of it that is going to be so redacted, it's going to look like, I don't know. If I walked into the ring with Mike Tyson at the peak of his powers, my face would be just empty of teeth. We're going to see that type of redaction on this. The only names that are going to be there are going to be Democrats, would be my guess. Nevertheless, he's clearly irritated by this. And he also, I would imagine, is even more irritated today after that Texas ruling, because his chances of holding the House, regardless of, if the Texas ruling holds and California continues with their gerrymander, because this one was struck down, not because it's a gerrymander. You can gerrymander to the full hilt, according to the Supreme Court, but you cannot do it based with a racial intent. And the judge made it absolutely clear, the Trump-appointed judge, that it was. We'll get into that in a bit.
So many rules.
But Donald Trump is so agitated these days, and he has welcomed really the guy who has put hundreds of millions, if not billions, into his pocket, and is going to be putting billions more to the White House. He's got him surrounded in gold lame. And then someone has the indignity of asking a question that, of course, the most obvious question to ask at that point. What number is this? Trump is asking the question. It is ABC's Mary Bruce. We got two questions she asked, and watch this.
Fit to all of need in Saudi Arabia and fit to all investment strategy.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen, but he knew nothing about it. And
pause it for a second. Just for those of you who are younger, perhaps, or weren't paying attention to the news, the thing that happened to Khashoggi, who was a writer for the Washington Post and a green card holder, I believe, was that he was tricked into going to the embassy. He was met there, the Saudi embassy in Turkey, if I'm not mistaken, Istanbul. And was then met with a cadre of thugs sent by MBS. And now, this is not my assessment of this. This is the U.S. intelligence assessment of this. And then was killed and chopped into small pieces and then put into, what was it, a vat?
A tandoori well.
A tandoori well with goat, so that the body wouldn't smell that much. It literally chopped up into pieces and then burnt.
Stuff happens.
And that's the stuff that happens. And it might be the case that, and sometimes he wrote some controversial things. So,
the journalist?
Yeah, there you go.
We can move on to part two.
Let's move on to part two. So here's Donald Trump. He's very, very upset. You don't speak to my patron / guest in the White House that way.
Yeah, you don't embarrass my guest.
I can't.
I said this when the Bahrain guy was there too, but do you think the MBS is like, this is a little gaudy.
Exactly.
A little. Tone it back.
A little too much. And he's probably also thinking like, wow, this guy really is kissing my ass.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had my ass kissed, but this is really like,
It's unbelievable.
I mean, I've had people killed by just simply nodding my head and have them chopped up into pieces. But this guy over here, he is kissing my ass for a couple $1 billion. Good.
6 months. I mean, I don't do these reports. They say 0 people have been able to come in. Is that pretty good?
Mr.
I don't know if
President,
that's right, but it's-
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
No, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today.
He seems a little irritated. You know what they should have done is if he had all this information on the Epsteins and the Democrats, he should have released that.
I know.
It's a hoax, but it also implicates them more than me.
It's totally fake by the Democrats, but they're all going to boomerang and how could you ask this poor man, not literally poor, and also not poor in any way. How dare you? Insubordination.
I think we should let this roll a little bit longer because the FCC stuff, I think.
Oh, yeah. You keep going.
Yeah.
It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, 0, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't want to, it's important. He's right about Larry Summers. Just about everything else was incorrect, however. But nevertheless, let the chips fall where they may. I'm very happy to hear all that, but it is quite clear this is a very, very agitated man. Very, very agitated. And we can't know exactly what's agitating him, but we get a hint. We get a hint. And his polling is not helping him. And I can only imagine how he's reacting in the White House now, because those last 2 years of his presidency are going to be a lot less fun, it seems to me, if Congress is hauling in his family members to find out exactly how much money they are making in Saudi Arabia. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.